Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and this is actually really exciting news. I'm finally glad to see this come to fruition from Framework here, is that they got the Framework 16 coming out. Now, as many of you know, I do have a Framework laptop. I do really like it. It's a 12th gen. The only problem I have is I wish they would update BIOS here to get the official BIOS out, get the new battery supported, all that other stuff, is that they would get that ironed out. But I also wish that they had a touchscreen if I'm wishing for things. But it's a very nice, reliable laptop. I really enjoy it. It's upgradable, right? You can get the 13th gen. You can even get now and pre-order the AMD one for the 13, but they're coming out with a 16-inch. So for those people that need a lot more horsepower, looking for more like a desktop replacement type system. Well, I watched the AMD video released on this. They're saying, Framework is saying this is, for a desktop replacement. I don't really think so. I think you can get a lot more power out of a desktop, but I think it's the closest thing that you can really get to that to be able to produce some desktop performance here. So let's jump over here to the first page. I just want to see this. Oh yeah, here you go. So I was going to do a video on this yesterday, right? But this is what I was getting for the first couple hours, and I had other stuff to do. So here I went, and you're getting it today because it just took a little while to get everything to load here, which I think is a really good sign. Me personally, I like to see things like this because one, it's smaller startup getting into the market, and one really good thing here is that with repairability, I think that you've all have heard my views on repairability. If not, check out some of my other videos. I think that repairability is a key thing and a key selling point in today's, and having repairability, being able to get parts and everything else. So hopefully that they even work with different independent people or open up their boards even more. So if something just simple needs to be replaced, these, everything from like Lewis Rossman repair shops to Northridge Fish, everything can just get in there, repair quickly, get the parts, and you're back off and running. Let's get the e-waste out. They're big on that. So they were hit pretty hard here. So let's reload this, but this is actually loading today. So this was yesterday, they are announcing it, and this is going to be configurable with the latest AMD Ryzen and latest AMD Radeon GPUs, CPUs and GPUs. Notice that they put plural on there. So just keep that in mind as we're reading this. It's supposed to be a laptop like no other, and pretty much it is. And the reason why is that it's repairable, upgradable, reconfigurable. It's modular design, discrete graphics. I think that this is a really great option for people that are looking for like a desktop replacement. It's not something that I'm personally looking for right now. Could it be in the future? Maybe. I'm looking for something thin and light, easy to carry along, and that's me, right? My wife wants something. She doesn't do a lot of graphics horsepower, so she just wants something thin and light. So she's getting I pre-ordered the AMD model for her, wishing that I would have got that, but she's getting a nice upgrade and from a Surface Pro 4, and that's what she's getting. And but however, I told this to my brother yesterday. He was down to visit. He was driving through for work, and he decided to stop by for a second. And I was telling him about this, and he's just like, "Well, let's price one out." So this is one model that he was thinking about getting right off the bat for some of the stuff he does. So all of a sudden, people are attracted to this already. Now, another big thing for me is I do help people and businesses buy computers. People contact me, what's your suggestion? And one thing, I noticed with certain other manufacturers is that the repairability isn't always there, or they do something and it's not always perfect. Now, I don't expect Framework to do things perfectly, but the nice thing is let's say something were to go wrong. I can repair it. I can, take it someplace, reuse it, whatever. And I think this is one great opportunity Framework has, where there's a whole line of business stuff. Because in a lot of businesses, let's say, I've worked for a business before in an IT realm, and you have a desktop, and it's quick swapping out of parts to get the desktop up and running, keep that system up and running for that engineer where I was at, so that they can still develop and get work done. This is the same sort of thing. I think there's a huge arena here for businesses as well in the future, as this gets ironed out, and as they see the first generation go through. Right, I don't think many businesses or big businesses are going to jump on this, but especially for small businesses and stuff, I think that this is a great option to be able to upgrade and stuff in the future. But what it's going to come with is, prices start at $1,400, and DIY edition is $1,600 for a pre-built system, a 78 40HS, and you can add in a 7700S graphic module. So that's pretty cool that you can add that in. Right now it's coming with Starfield. The graphics module, that's with the graphics module, and they will send that. That's pretty cool. And if you want to pre-order it, you can from US, Canada, Germany, France, Netherlands, Austria, Ireland, and Australia. $100 deposit, and get your order in as soon as you want, because yeah. And they do say this may be your final laptop. Um, this is true, right? You have a chassis, and since everything's upgradable, you may have different innards, but I mean, it seems to last. I've had some minor accidents with this laptop, but I like to do work in the garage and then bring the laptop out there for if I need to do research or something, if I'm taking apart an engine or whatever, or apart a device or whatever, for a vehicle or a lawnmower or something like that. And you listen to stuff, or you set it up on something that you shouldn't have, and all of a sudden it falls over. So but it's held up. I haven't had to go and buy, because you can buy a replacement part, replacement shell, whatever you want. I haven't needed it. It actually holds up quite well. Very impressed with it. So the Radeon Silicon, right, this is going to be with Radeon Advantage now, and you're going to have 8 Zen 4 CPUs, 16 cores, 5.1 point boost, unless you get up to 7940HS, which is a 5.2 boost. They design with Cooler Master, which was kind of seen because they have the Cooler Master accessory to put your old boards in from the 13-inch. 45 watts of continuous power, right? And there's fantastic graphics performance of the 7800M, which is inside that CPU as well. One really interesting thing here is that you notice the CPU is inside, right? And then you have the graphics module. So technically, they're both separate cooling solutions, which is really, really awesome. You don't have the load of both on the same cooling. So they're saying that they've maxed out the capabilities of the chip with the 100-watt sustainable total graphics power, and 8 gigs at 18 gigabytes per second that can be cooled, and higher CFM. Um, Both of the CPU and GPU can run at full wattage simultaneously when needed. This GPU excels for both work and play, blah, blah, blah. So that's really cool. I like what they did here, and that's one thing you get with an expansion bay, is that you can go through and have that separate cooling in there. Really some cool stuff. I can't wait to see what people do. I really hope that this takes off. Like I said, I don't have a need for this, but for anyone that does, I hope that this sort of thing takes off. I'd like to see them expand this GPU line. So let's say, I can't remember what everything is here, but let's get through how many more mobile GPUs they have. But let's get through this. They have a 2560 by 1600 display, 165 hertz FreeSync, 500 nits, 1501 contrast, 100% DCI P3 color gamut. So they're supposed to be a good job for gaming, creation, production, all that sort of stuff. 85 watt hour battery, not kilowatt hour, 85 watt hour battery. That'd be an awesome battery, by the way. Kilowatt. So full day's work, 80% capacity after 1,000 cycles. So let's say you charge it once per day. That's almost 3 years, or around 3 years ish. Right? I did my math right? Yeah. So that's really kind of cool. And then quad speakers, if needed, all replaceable. Uh, that's the cool thing, all replaceable. Wi-Fi 6E, 5.2 Bluetooth, AMD's new M.2 module, and a 1080p webcam with dual mics, and you have the hardware switches for privacy. I/O expansion cards, you get 6 in total, and it doesn't come with a headphone jack in the chassis like the 13. So if you want something like that, make sure you just order one of these USB-Cs to headphones, so you can actually have multiple headphone jacks. and it comes with an 180 watt uh, charger. Now, by the way, if you have, let's see, the back two slots on each side can take up 240 watts of power. So this laptop, full bore, and we might get to that too, can draw a lot of power. So they decided with a 180 watt charger because that's going to be the most affordable, and not everyone's going to need the full 240. So let's say you're, going four bore and you need to do the 240 watt, but your battery, it's going to draw some from the battery. So that's just the way it is, unless you get the 240 watt charger, but that's up to you. So it's only like 5.3 pounds, or 4 point with the graphics module, 4.6 pounds without, 17 or 17.95, so 18 millimeters thick or 21 millimeters thick. Very reasonable, fully configurable, as you can see here. CNC aluminum, very impressed overall. As you see here, this is kind of the design on the inside, how they're able to do it with the modules, putting it all together. And this is DDR5. This is what I like to see. This is what I like to see laptops always would be looking like, but it's taken a while there. So let's see here. So this is one thing I really like to see more of in the marketplace. I'm hoping that since the external module plugs in, I really hope that other companies kind of take this and work with it and get those other modules as well. What would be really interesting to me is if these modules from other people are able to just kind of take off. And I don't know if NVIDIA will get involved here, but that would be kind of interesting. I like to see, other GPUs from AMD to come here and to get that, because I think if there was other graphics modules, you could see people deciding on which ones they want, because what everybody wants is to have that very, very powerful, I guess here, I totally forgot this. So here is the AMD current series, is the 7700S, is 32 compute units, 2200 megahertz, 32 megs of cache, 8 gigs of DDR6, GDDR6. So that's what it is now. But I'd like to see them come up with, like, let's say a 7800S or something like that. I think that would be kind of cool to see in the mobile market and to have this expand. I hope that AMD and Framework are committed to getting this up and running more and more each and every year, and so that we see this constant upgrade from them, because I think that that would make this laptop very attractive to more and more people. You already see it on their forums, people were asking for stuff like this. Let's make it to fruition, but having the whole full configuration of everything you can do, like with the keyboard, is kind of cool. So let's actually hit here. This is, graphics module expansion base. So you can see the graphics module has a separate cooling expansion base shell. Keyboards, you have keyboard RGB, clear keyboard, input modules, RGB macros, spacers, LED matrix, number pad. There's even speakers too. I guess that's not really input module. Bezels, whoa, still waking up, I guess. And expansion cards. So you got USB-C, USB-A, HDMI, DisplayPort, micro SD, Ethernet. I do have an Ethernet one here. So, yeah, it works out quite well. If you see that, it's 2.5 gig, and then storage. Now this has, I think, 2 NVMe drives on there, so I don't know why you would need that. But let's configure this just so guys can kind of see. Wow, they're going through them quite quickly here. This is the DIY edition. We can go back and check out the other one, but batch 6 now ships in Q1. This is actually, yeah, Q1 if you want this now. It was Q5 last night when my brother stopped by, so good luck here. If you need one, I'd say get your order in, $100 down as soon as possible. You have DDR, you get your choice of DDR 5600. You have your primary storage, your secondary storage. So you have 2 options there. Operating system if you want it. You can bring your own. It runs Linux. They actually have, it seems like, pretty good Linux support. Very impressed. You have expansion bay modules. You can do the expansion bay shell, or you can do the graphics modules, or you can do both. Um, both would cost you, um, what is it, 1800, so 1300, 1800, or 1900, 1400, 1900. So 500 bucks ish. You can get your keyboards here. You can even get your English RGB keyboard input modules. You have your two speaker spacers, your numpad, RGB macros. You have bezels. Here you can change your color. You have power adapter, and then you have your power adapter region. So that comes with your connector to wall. USB-A, you have all these. These second gens and third gens are supposed to be better on power usage, so that's kind of cool. What you can do. They even give you, one thing that's really cool is that they give you the option of how to fix these modules up a little bit, which I do like. And then you can get extra spacers in different colors, LED matrix, number pad, RGB one, and so you can pre-order it. So um, yeah, you select everything you want. I mean, this is kind of pretty, this is pretty cool. And you can actually swap out the graphics modules. Let's say you didn't want the extra graphics module because you're traveling and you weren't going to do any gaming or anything powerful in the GPU. You swap out the other module and you're good to go. So let's actually look at pre-builds here. Configure batch 1 or batch 6 quarter 1. Oh, sorry about that. And then all of them are. So they're making some progress here of how everything is kind of moving forward. That's impressive. I'm glad that they're sealing this sell through. I like to see them get through batch 9 to see where we're at, um, just to see how fast it kind of goes. But this is kind of fun to see that something like this, and I won't go into all these deep dives, but check out the framework blog, and they have these enclosures, the power adapters, um, explaining all this stuff. And that's the graphics, but I really am glad to see what Framework is doing here. Framework is kind of changing the game in this laptop market. I'm glad that AMD decided to work with them and get out something a little bit more powerful, a lot more powerful than a thin and light. External GPUs really kind of go into that market where your enthusiasts are, and your enthusiasts are going to buy this and really promote it. I think even more than the 13-inch. While I promote the 13-inch like crazy, I think that this is, for those people that, um, I guess if I had this, I'd probably promote it as well. But this is one of those where people are going to see it and really like it. And if they want something with external GPU, it's going to be awesome. But if not, the people that are going to have this are going to promote the 13-inch for those people that aren't looking for something like more powerful like the 16-inch, or didn't want something as big as a 16-inch. So I think this is a really cool product, and I really hope that it takes off. I think that we can see a lot of expansion. I hope that other companies jump on the bandwagon of saying, hey, they got this expansion slot and they've opened it up, I believe, so that everyone can use it. Let's take a look at it and let's develop something for this so people can really jump on board and expand this product line. And maybe it's something that in the future more companies will even use. That would be kind of cool, right? You have a Dell, you have a HP also use these expansion slots, and you can start switching in things, basically making the laptop a PC. And what we all come to love about it is that you have the upgradability. You can go and tinker, and you can make it yours. And I think that's a really cool part of this. So with that, let me know what you're excited about. I know I've gone on long enough, but I think this is a really cool product, and wanted to get this out there. So let me know what your thoughts are. What do you like to see adjusted in this? I'm not going to get one probably because I'm not I don't have an unlimited stack of money, that I can be able to buy all this stuff with. But let me know what you like about it. Let me know what you like to see about it. I like to see a touchscreen still. That's what I like to see in all these. The one downside to my wife getting it is that she says she's going to miss the touchscreen, but I'd rather take the repairability over the touchscreen. And I hope that they actually come out the touchscreen, because I'll buy that right away. I'll probably buy two for the 13-inch especially. So with that, thank you so much for listening, watching, and subscribing, hitting the bell icon, and doing all the fun YouTube stuff. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, God bless.